It's... Oh my god, oh no, no! Oh my god, what a trip. Sorry, Krusty. Okay, once again, from a secret, undisclosed location, hidden somewhere deep in the bowels of downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, comes In the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, me, Wallace Ryan. So this is our second episode in a couple of days. And I encourage you actually to check out the first of these two. I had my friend Sam Johnston over as a guest, and we waxed eloquent about Disney books and stuff like that, and you should check it out. It's very good. I'm going to have him back to talk more because we ended up talking. Geez, we did at least a half-hour show, I do believe. We talked until we couldn't talk no more. Well, we could have talked more, so we're going to do another episode, so check that out. But, of course, we did get in some new books this week, so I'm going to hop right to it because there's some spectacular stuff here. Now, as you can see, I'm very lazily attired here today. I'm actually thinking about going out doing some grocery shopping, not dressed like this. But I gotten up and, I lazed around. I did a few things, did some writing and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh my God, I got to do my new book thing for this week, my new episode. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Let's do it to it. Now, the first one in this is one heck of a sweetie. The first one in this week's, and I pre-opened this because I wanted to read it. It just looks so darn good. From DC Comics comes the Absolute Fourth World edition and volume 1. And oh my God, is it bloody gorgeous. I already have this in omnibus form and in smaller omnibus form up there. But when I seen it was coming out in Absolute, I had to have it. This is still to this day one of my absolute favorite comic book series. I think it was the height of Jack Kirby. It's Kirby Magic and Madness at its best. And it's a series I first read that really started me on the path to becoming a lifelong Kirby fanatic myself. But I gotta say, DC, even though I've been bad-mouthing you a lot lately because of your silly policies with your distribution, this thing is absolutely amazing. Beautiful, beautiful book. I mean, look at this slipcase with a little hole where we can see dark side in there. And I'll actually hold this up a bit closer to you folks here with that cool mother box like graphic around it. Cool Kirby thing on the back, of course, a nice drawing of the king himself, and there's the side with the title, of course. But yeah, absolutely stunning. I was gobsmacked when I seen some early pictures of it, and I just couldn't wait to get my greasy little paws on it. So let's take it out of its box there. There's the cover. Ain't that a beauty? And of course, the best thing with this is just the fact that it's so darn big. If any comic from DC deserves the big treatment, it's the Fourth World. As a matter of fact, here, I just happened to open on this comic I bought when I was a kid. I was stopped at North City in Nova Scotia waiting to cross the Gulf of St. Lawrence to Newfoundland, and I went to a local store and picked up a comic, and this was the comic I picked up. I wasn't as familiar with Kirby. Well, I'd known Kirby as a guy who did some stuff for Marvel, but I didn't put two and two together. But I read this, and I was just absolutely gobsmacked. Like, look at this. Now, there's pure evil. Dark side. The cool mother box, like mine. And yeah, just, like I say, I thought it was a great story. I still think it's a great story to this day. And, I mean, it has a lot of the early ones. It has some of the early Jimmy Olsen's, even the Madcap Don Rickles one. I mean, look at that. Look at that collage there. the man could really do it. And I actually liked this story. It was just such a weird and crazy story. Then, of course, Mr. Miracle, that was the one that really took me in. I can still remember buying issue number 1 of that and reading it and thinking, wow, this is just so cool. Forever People, I didn't come along till after. As I got older, I realized, hey, there was another Fourth World title out there. And I picked that up, and I love that. This is Sunny Sumo. And actually, it is really, really cool. Great storyline. Then back to Orion and the New Gods. This is, I mean, look at there. There's a classic Kirby double-page spread with Metron down there in the corner. Kirby had a thing with portraying scale. And this, look at that Spawn. This is one of my favorite all-time issues. A lot of the New Gods ones were really good. This is where Mike Royer started to take over, and to be quite honest, started doing a really bang-up job. So we'll go on. There's that Wonder Gore there. He started taking over doing that, and even taking over the Forever People too. I mean, look at this. I love this. The Omega Effect. Amazing stories. And this one, of course, one of his masterpieces, the Glory Boat. Even as a kid, I thought that cover was really strange. I mean, this is so good. It's scoring Siren Alert. No. So there you go. And then once again back to that, and then some little stuff in the end. Now this is volume 2. Oh, and it's a heavy bugger too, but it's just so worth it. Anyone out there who's a fan of Kirby and of the Fourth World, if you love the Fourth World as much as I do, you gotta get the Absolute Edition. I almost want to just throw away my other edition after reading that. Beautiful. Okay, sip of tea here now just to calm myself down. Actually saw an accident on the street that's just that I'm on here last night, just down the street a bit. Some guy went flying down the road here in front of my house, passing the people in his lane, pulled out into the other lane. I can remember thinking, boy, this sucker ain't long for the world. And then I heard a crash and went down, and of course there was a crash there. Anyway, that's a story for another day. The next little beauty I have here is, hang on a second, let me see, where is it? This is from the good folks at Yo Books. Way to go, Craig, you got us another classic here. This time, Craig is bringing us Peter Morisi's Wild Man of Chicago, Johnny Dynamite. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, even just, I've seen drawings of it and stuff like that, and pictures here and there through the years of it, and it just looked so cool. It was just like, oh, I have to get my hands on this. And it just looks like a really great comic. It's basically, as it says, explosive pre-code crime comics. And of course, I love any pre-code crime comics. I actually get a lot from PS Art books, but this one is really cool. Check this out, look. I love Morisi's style. It's very Toth-esque, or Toth-esque. I don't know how I pronounce it, Toth. But yeah, I can't wait to sink my eyeballs into this baby. Story and art by Pete Morisi. Looks cool. I love the covers too. Oh, look at that. Communism. Anyone remember communism? Anyway, highly recommend it. Go out and buy this baby. Actually, I throw a few kisses the Absolute's way. Time for another sip of tea. It's a real great tea there today. Actually, I have a friend of mine, Rebecca from McKay from Scotland. She's has a company, Monsoon Tea, and she sent me some tea, and I can't wait to get my paws on that. And of course, I'll tell you when I'm drinking it. Next up here, this is a neat little story. I actually read a bit of this as I was starting to get ready for it, and it was just like, wow, this is actually really cool. It's as it says here on the back, Wild Thing is an intriguing quest, a canine road movie full of life, depth, passion, and setbacks. For a dog story, but actually, I read a little bit of it so far, and it is really cool. It's called Wild Thing, or My Life as a Wolf by Clayton Jr. from A Blaze. This is actually really good, especially when he's at the start, when he's recruited as a sheepdog and he's talking to the sheep, and it's actually quite funny here, right? What are we going to do today? We're going to go for a walk, we're going to do this. The sheep are actually quite funny, I like it. So yeah, this one, definitely check it out. I'll just show you a bit of the artwork there. It's worth, once again, I'm a guy who likes, well, I like a lot of artwork, but I'm partial to simple stuff. Oh, there we go. This is where he's talking to the dog. But yeah, it's just, there's just something really, really neat about it. So I highly recommend you give this one a shot. A Blaze seems to be really coming along and hitting us up with some really cool stuff. So support the little guys too. A Blaze, Craig Yo, you know, those who are really fighting it out in the trenches for us. Now, this one, speaking of one that isn't from the small guys, this is Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, Volume 3. I'm not as huge a Spider-Man fan as my good buddy Jason Conway, who owns Downtown Comics here in St. John's, Newfoundland, the most easterly comic book store in North America, and one of the coolest. But you know, I'm willing to give anything a try. This and a lot of this I actually haven't read. This has art mainly by Jim Mooney, but there's also some stuff by John Byrne, Rich Buckler, and Walter Simonson. And although the Walter Simonson one is inked by Ricardo Villamonte, so it doesn't quite look. When that happens, I find that Walt inks Walt the best. There are a couple of other people who do a good job at him, but he's my personal favorite. Shh, quiet dog. So yeah, check it out. I'll give you a quick look, spin through. And Jim Mooney, I mean, I still like Jim Mooney. He's a real workaday type of artist. Nothing extremely spectacular and mind-blowing about him, but he can tell a good story. There we go. You like, you buy, you put on your shelf. So cool, hey? So yeah, check it out. Tell them I sent you. Okay, next. Okay, now this is one that was supposed to be out probably at least a month ago, I think, from DC Comics, and I actually like this. I hope that they do more of this in sort of an homage to their Treasury Editions. This is famous first edition limited collector's platinum mint series. More fun comics, or new fun comics actually. What am I saying? More fun. New fun comics. This is really DC's first real all original comic in terms of content. A lot of the early comics used to have like repasted comic strips and stuff like that. And then eventually I guess they got the idea of why don't we do original stories in this format. And so, of course, they did. And thus was born the comic book for, and this of course is issue 1. So it's not a big long one. It has, oh, here we go. It has in it, Lloyd Jacquet is the original series publisher. But yeah, it's I like this too. The paper has a nice sort of toothy feel to it. Well, let's see what it looks like underneath there. Oh, look at this. Oh, I like the cover. Let's take off its outer covering. Oh, and nice back. So this is just like a giant facsimile edition. I used to love the DC Treasury editions and the Marvel ones when I was a kid. They're just so cool, right? Now this one starts out with, yeah, this. I can't remember who a lot of the artists are, but yeah, really cool. It's in black and white too, and this even has the ads left in it too, which is kind of cool. I always like that when they do that. So let's have a close-up look of it here. I like it. It's just like nice and big and brash. And like I said, I love the fact that they leave in the a lot of the old-time ads and stuff like that. There we go. So worth buying. So check it out. New fun comics. A lot of good new fun. With historical essays by Jerry Bales, Roy Thomas, and Nikki Wheeler Nicholson. Obviously related to the Major. Okay, let's get you back in your nice dust jacket here, where you're nice and safe. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, yeah. And hopefully maybe they'll do some more of these. I like those who like it a lot. Now I'm going to end off with actually there was with this Aliens versus Predator comic, which at the time when they first came out, I can remember this series was super hot. As was the Aliens and the Predator comic. More the Aliens comics were really super hot, and then they decided to slap Alien and Predator together, and this eventually actually really did lead to the movies. This is Randy Stradley, Phil Norwood, and Chris Warner. But oh yeah, I like the golden gilded edged pages, stuff like that. I gotta say, Dark Horse really does a bang up job when it comes to producing books. Unfortunately, they've lost the license for this, and it's going to Marvel. It's just like, come on, Marvel, don't you got enough? Leave something for everyone else. But yeah, this one's definitely worth it, because this, like I say, this was the classic series at its time, and I mean everything we know about Aliens versus Predator really sprang from this. And it has that new book smell. Smell. But yeah, check it out for sure there. Okay. And, oh, I actually left one to the side here, and last but definitely not the least, comes Strange Suspense Stories, Volume 3 from PS Art Books, another great collection of classic Ditko work. And of course, same with them too, they leave the ads in. So yeah, PS Art Books, I kind of like what they do. So yeah, check it out and enjoy it. That being said, I'm gonna call it an episode and go and do some grocery shopping. Once again, check out the latest episode just before this one, with my chat with Sam Johnston about Disney Comics, and of course check out this week's Thursday Comics podcast with my good buddy Dennis Osborne. And we had a great time this week. Actually, we watched Arlen Schumer did his webinar about Kirby and Steranko's Captain America. It was well worth watching. Me and Dennis, of course, are big Kirby and Steranko fans, especially Dennis with the Steranko. And yeah, he did an amazing job. So check it out and tell him I sent you. Oh, hang on a sec. Let's give a spin of the old spinner rack to. I love that sound. Let's let that bring us right out and end this show. And I'll see you next week, people. Keep on reading. Love you, folks. Okay. Bye. Might as well boom tube it out of here. And don't forget, pick up that absolute fourth world if you can.